So, today I am super blessed to be able to talk with my mother-in-law who has been a such an important part of my life. And I'm super excited because she has been an entrepreneur for almost 35 years. And I just want to pick her brain so we can all kind of walk away learning some stuff here today. So, to start, I wanted you to just take us back to the beginning of your journey and, what started you in this entrepreneur environment.
Hello, everyone. My name is Karla, famous mother-in-law of the beautiful Anna. My The answer to that question is, I was pretty young when I knew what I wanted to do as far as uh, making a living, and it was the hair business. I was always drawn to it. I always had a passion for it, so that part was easy. I knew that I wasn't one that liked to go to school, so beauty school was calling my name, and I knew it was going to be quick and swift, and that was probably the first time in my life that I had a 4.0. So anyway, I already knew I was on the right path. As far as starting it as my own business, I was surrounded by people because as a senior in high school, I was an assistant to a hairstylist who mentored me. And I was given the opportunity early on, as soon as I graduated, to just start building a clientele because that's what everyone else was doing in the salon. So I learned from other people, especially my mentor. Her name was Pat.
Mhm.
Yeah, so does that answer your question?
Yes, absolutely. And so at the beginning, at what point did you open your own salon? How many years did it take in between
Well,
there?
that was another blessing because the way that I opened my own salon, it was a family business that I took over when I was ready. It took me about, I started off as a baby, receptionist, assistant, and then building a clientele. And it took me, I think it was 1990, I think 1997 I took over the proprietorship of the business, the salon, and I just kind of ran with it. The reason that I was able to do that was I submerged myself in many classes, many educational opportunities that was able to take. Flying back then, it was I had to fly to the mainland for these classes. There were a few that was locally available, but for the most part, I would have to go look for these classes and then just kind of sit there and learn from the successful people.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's how the journey kind of unfolded.
Yeah, you're really good at, and I feel like you pride yourself in making sure you're educated and stay up to date and always looking for a new place to learn.
Yes.
And so at the beginning, when you first opened the salon, what were some of the challenges you faced and how did you work through them?
Oh, the challenges. I put a few notes here. Where did I write that down? Well, the biggest challenge was just building the clientele. That part was easy. It just came kind of natural because I just loved customer service, and I saw that as the first thing to success was customer service. The skills as far as cutting hair kind of just came as time went on. Um, but as far as the challenging part was people, like staff,
Mm.
finding the right team. And I was so young, so there's so much that I was learning. But finding the right team was key to a successful salon business. Uh, and then there was, because the location was perfect. It's just that there were many bumps in the road because um, there's a lot of time you have to put into your business. And I had my children were young at the time. Fortunately, I had so much family support, but yeah, just trying to juggle all of that. I just kind of fell into this place where I knew I loved having the business, but I also loved my family. And I would always have to sacrifice one for the other. So there was some point in my life where I had to make a choice because the compensation of what I was putting into the business wasn't outweighing the sacrifice of leaving the family time.
Hmm.
So then I made a choice for
Hmm.
my sanity.
Right.
So yeah, challenges.
Yeah. So from 1997, because I know that you had closed the salon then and then went back to just renting your own chair in a salon. How long was that
That
process?
was so 97 to early 2000 was when I was just like engrossed in trying to build a salon. And the challenge, or I want to say the error that we made, was we grew. We tried to get a bigger salon.
Hmm.
And then I had adopted a partner that we'll leave his name out of it, but
Hmm.
that kind of made everything, yeah,
Heightened. You
propel in like a direction that I was so uncomfortable in,
added.
because it took me away from what I loved as far as working behind the chair, because I was so busy trying to grow this and keep this salon staff going, and I was trying to recreate the vision that I was trying to do behind the chair. And I wanted everyone else to have that same opportunity that I had, right? And then at the same time make money. But what happened was, with the way the world was and the business choices, like I said, the compensation wasn't worth the time and the effort.
Mhm.
But I did meet a lot of great people along the way. I did learn a whole lot about being a salon owner.
Mhm.
Would I do it again? Probably, maybe. Maybe if I do, knowing what I know now, I would say a high maybe, but it would be um, it would be alone,
Mhm.
and um, I definitely know a lot more people that I could handpick, and I think that's what would make the difference, is
Mhm.
just having the right blend of people,
Mhm.
under the umbrella.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you learned some things along the way, though, definitely. So, what are some of those things that you learned during those challenging times?
The things I learned, well, going back to there's this turning point in my career, right? So, interject the in between of all of that. The highest point of my career was that I was offered an opportunity to become a color educator,
Mm.
um, and it was a very premium, prestigious color company that I absolutely trusted. And the person that offered me the job, I absolutely trusted. And it was a golden opportunity. So I took it, as terrifying as it was at a young age. I think this was back in 1999. So, you know, that was a long time ago. And I wasn't comfortable speaking.
Mhm.
I had to learn all the material. I had to go in front of my peers, which was frightening. I had to present. I had to make sure I knew what I was talking about. So going through all of that, I was able to um, gain a lot more confidence within myself. Um, and then that overflowed it with my clients trusting me even more. So that actually kind of really elevated my career, and that I'm so grateful for. So again, that was another factor in juggling. So that was another thing I juggled, because that required me to travel every so many months.
Yeah.
Leave the family, leave the salon. So yes, so all of that was going on at once. But I saw, now looking back, I see the broad picture and how I use that to get to the point that I am today, which is yes, I consider that a win for sure.
Mhm. I joke that you would obviously lose your head if it wasn't attached to your body, but when you think about color and all this stuff, I joke that I don't know how you keep that in your head. So that's when I know you're doing the right thing that God called you to do, because
Yes.
you're able to remember all that stuff all the time. And I ask you what you had for breakfast, and you're like, I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that goes right along with muscle memory, because
Yeah.
you're doing it all the time, right? It's just
Hmm.
constant. So that part, I know even when I'm an old lady, I probably still know your formula.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I know there's different career paths and entrepreneur landscapes where it's like you can own, right, and do the salon, or you could be in a situation where you're renting and you're doing it. You're still an entrepreneur and you're still running your company, but it's a different landscape. And
Hmm.
so tell us about, those differences and what kind of drives those.
Well, the difference is like when you're allowed freedom, as everyone loves freedom. But again, you have to be very careful with freedom because you could take advantage of that too. So my thing that I like to teach or influence or inspire young stylists or people just starting out is consistency. I say being accountable, being somebody that shows up for your clients, not somebody who's flaky. I just feel like just being consistently available for others and putting there and just being considerate of everyone's time. I think that really helps in building these relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And
Definitely.
then and for me too, I just appreciate people taking the time to come and visit me, behind the chair. And again, working for someone versus for yourself, again, it's a privilege to be an independent stylist. Uh, but it could work the other way too. I think it just depends on how you market yourself, you know, and it's just a different structure. And it's being independent is not for everyone. If you don't have a clientele base, then you probably would want to work for someone versus for yourself. So that's another opportunity in this type of business.
Mm-hmm. I feel like most people who become entrepreneurs at some point, you're unique. They maybe worked in corporate America or had a team and worked for others. And that group helps you stay accountable, right? You got to show up to work every day.
Hmm.
How do you, in your career, how do you show up for yourself every day?
Well, it's mind over matter, right? It's your body will go where your mind tells it to. So being organized with your time management and then just prioritizing what's important to you as far as work, play, just juggling all of that. I think when your day, I always say, I tell myself, my day starts the night before. So the night before, I'm already talking myself into what time I have to wake up, what time I have to do this, I have to do that. You just kind of map it out, and then you just follow your map, right? Like anything, when you navigate, you need a map. You can't just drive to nowhere. You have to know where you're going and you have to tell yourself where you're going. So all the little steps in between, it starts from again education because that's always motivating. Then nowadays it's everywhere, so you don't have to buy a plane ticket. And then just knowing again what you're going to do next and what you want to get done throughout the day, whether it's 5 clients or it's 3 clients. Um, yeah, just focusing, just put a lot of focus and passion into whatever you're doing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think that that's a huge thing because even for myself jumping into this, what I thought it was going to be, it absolutely is not. You know this as well, right? You become the accountant, the person who's doing the hair. Like you have to take on all these additional responsibilities. And I feel like sometimes we don't think about those things before we jump into owning our own company and working for ourselves. And you really have to think about all the things that come and those responsibilities because at the end of the day, you're the only one who can hold yourself accountable now.
Yeah, and your energy really dictates how much you get done in a day. So if your energy is low, so that's why I like to do things like that create energy, whether it's work out, whether it's meditate and pray and all of those things that help drive some energy that makes you that gives you that aliveness, right? And then everything else just kind of comes natural to you because you're just drawing in all these great things to you because you're open to it. You're not like, oh, I feel so tired, but no, you're like ready for come what may. You're gonna get excited about work, or if you're gonna just stay home and do whatever you're doing around the house,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's taking care of your family or going out with a friend, or again, like a busy work day. You're just like, yes, I am gonna be present to whatever I'm doing. And I think that part in is the key, I think, to just being feel fulfilled, because that's when we're happiest, is when we feel like we're making progress and we're fulfilling our tasks or whatever we tell ourselves we're going to do for the day. We don't let ourselves down. And
Mhm.
that's another thing I think that is key. I want people to take on is just, we can't run from ourselves. So we just have to be true to what we really want to do, and follow through. Yeah.
I think that's huge because so many people I feel like are just kind of drifting through life and doing whatever job kind of pays the bills. But this might sound cliche, but there are days you work 9 to 10, right? And we're not saying you're not tired at the end of the day, but I know how fulfilled you are and you come home with still a positive energy. And I wish more people got that out of what they were doing for
Mhm.
work.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I want that for everyone too. So hopefully, I can share the time that I have here with you, and inspire others to just, yeah, constantly just be true to yourself and understand what really truly what your heart's desires are, and time management and staying organized is going to help huge. That's like a huge thing. If you're
Mhm,
organized, you can get a lot done. Because let me tell you, I got a lot done this weekend. Got a lot done. And it is amazing what you can do when you set your mind to it.
mhm, mhm. I do want to go back for a second because we did talk at the beginning about, you have been in this for 35 years and even before that. And so, what have you noticed kind of over the years and how things have changed for maybe the better and maybe for the worst?
Are we talking about the hair industry, or are we just talking about life?
Give me whatever you feel called to share.
Okay, repeat the question one more time.
So, you've been in the industry, but also
Yeah.
like an entrepreneur for about 35 years almost.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Yes.
what have you seen change over the years?
Well, social media,
Hmm.
best and worst thing ever. Um, But it's amazing how much quicker we can advertise, because that's like, yeah, back in when I was starting to build a clientele, we had a yellow pages. I mean, we had to buy an ad in a yellow page. People would shop that way. People would find your phone number, that you had to be present to answer the phone that way. So the the process of building a clientele is so much quicker now if you do it the right way, the way the whole world is doing it. Now, for me, I'm not comfortable doing it that way. Fortunately, I'm not wanting to do it that way, but I could if I wanted to. I just don't want to.
We know.
But I do cheer on people who do it. They do a great job. So yeah, social media. I wish I had the passion for it. I props to everyone who does it. They do such a wonderful job. Um, and as far and that's like the biggest change, hair, as far as hairstyles, of course that's always going to change. It's
Hmm.
always evolving. So, and I'm just fortunate that I work in a salon that it is in front of me, so it just comes because I have so much people in the salon, and I just watch. You just got to keep watching, and you just have to absorb and just keep absorbing and just be open. I think that's the thing in learning, and we're constantly evolving and we're constantly growing. So that's the beautiful thing about what I do, is there's so much growth, there's so much change, and it's like you learn something every day. I get to talk to people tell me things that I need to know, or that it could be just talking about food, right? uh, but yeah, just constantly be open to what is going on out there, and with the gracious ear, be good listeners. You know, always be good listeners. That's another quality that's wonderful to have.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like as you, whatever industry you're in, as you jump into entrepreneurship, you have to be able to be a lifelong learner. There's
Mhm.
going to be new things that come out. There's going to be things that you need to learn and understand, or
Mhm.
tasks that you never thought you'd have to do that you have to
Mhm.
be able to step in and do, right?
Yes.
And so I
Yes.
think that that's a huge part. And when you look at entrepreneurs, usually they have that drive in them and that eagerness to stay hungry and want to learn.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, whether it's looking at work or not, beyond business success, let's say, what kind of impact do you want to leave on the world?
Uh, Impact. Well, again, just being ultra considerate of others. I love thinking of the other person.
Hmm.
I I that's where humility comes from. I think just the foundation for everything is just to be humble, no matter how successful you are, or maybe just your level of success is not always about your earnings. It could just be you made someone happy. I think that for me is a huge win when someone can leave just in a better mood, just they could come in with a whole lot of weight on their shoulders, and just our time together, they could it's just they leave lighter, brighter, their hair's beautiful, and they're just happier, and they're inspired. um that's one thing that I can touch on different people. And then just like, say if I have an apprentice or people that I work with, I the thing I want to leave behind if like I ever disappear is just, she truly loved what she did for a living. She knew her calling, she knew her mission in life,
Hmm.
and she lived every day to its fullest. She didn't take a day for granted. She wasn't lazy. she wa- she was she was accountable. She wasn't flaky. She showed up, right? She showed up no
Hmm.
matter what for others. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. And I think as entrepreneurs, we have to think about the impact we have on others because ultimately, you always say that's why we're here, right? To love one another.
Mhm.
And I always think about that. And so I think that beyond the scope of business, to just really think about how we're impacting people and how we're changing their lives and helping them in ways that we might not think are big every day, but to them, like you said, people may come in with all this weight on them and all this baggage, but if they can leave feeling a little bit lighter and a little bit better about themselves, your impact is huge, right?
Yes. And yes, we are here to love one another, take care of one another, but also before all of that, we have to love ourselves. Definitely love ourselves, be kind to ourselves. Whenever we feel anxious, we just have to tell ourselves, calm down, it's all okay, it'll be fine.
Hmm.
And and yeah, again, just moving forward, if you have the attitude that you just always want to be better or be the best version of yourself, kind of cliche, but it's true. Again, that comes from, on my station, what does it say? I have this beautiful sign. It's very small. It's not even that big, but it stares at you in the face. What does it say?
I don't know.
Testing you. It says,
Goodness.
be obsessively grateful. That's
Yes.
it. No
Yes.
matter what, well, no matter what is in front of me, like
Mhm.
the good, the bad, the ugly, the sweet, the sour. I mean, just say thank you, because it it could be a great lesson. What do they say? Your worst day could be your best day. So looking back on my worst day, that was my best day, because you find all the little blessings throughout the day.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because yeah,
And
it's hard. Life is hard. I mean, we got a lot to do, especially as women. We do a lot.
we
We do
do.
a lot.
We do. And I think sometimes also it does sound cliche, but we don't grow when we're comfortable. So in those trying times, I've really turned to this headspace of what did I learn today? And your son
Mhm.
does a very good job of like,
Mhm.
okay, what did you learn from this? And
Yeah.
sometimes, yeah,
Yeah.
I was
Yes.
too trusting with something, or
Yeah.
I should have prepared more, and sometimes it is you, right? And
Yeah.
so being able to really take every moment and think about what you learned or how
Mhm.
you grew, that's helpful also.
Yeah. That there's this other important way to maybe raise your children when you have them one day is when they come home from school and when they're old enough and you ask them what kind of mistakes did you make, what mistake did you make today, because that's important too, is
Yeah.
to just acknowledge, hey, it's good to have a you have to have a mistake every day because that's how we grow, that's how we learn. And to reflect on that on a daily basis in front of your own family, I mean, there's so much more trust that you can have with each other. And that's one thing I wish I did, but I could tell you guys to do it.
Mhm. And I think we
So,
live in a world where we want to be perfect, right? And that's not
yeah.
the reality. And I think being able to be vulnerable and starting that from a young
Mhm.
age is super helpful, right, to their success later in life and being able to say, whoops, I made a mistake, but here's how I'm going to go fix it now, and just
Mhm.
live like that instead of
Mhm.
in fear that you made this
Mhm.
mistake because you
Mhm.
weren't
Mhm.
perfect.
Yeah, because it's hard. They're going to make mistakes.
Hmm. Hmm.
And for them to recognize the mistake, that's what's important,
Right.
because I think bad things happen when you don't know you're making a mistake,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, I know we started this conversation talking about entrepreneurship and we've gone all over, which is totally
Oh,
fine.
it's
But
okay.
go ahead.
No, no, I just those ones. It's my favorite thing to talk about is just growth, right? That's it.
Absolutely. And so I just want to say thank you for agreeing to sit down with me. And I know that this will help some women entrepreneurs somewhere out there. So I appreciate you so much.
Well, you're very welcome. And I just want to say that you are amazing. I'm so, so proud of you. I know you're gonna help so many women or men, whoever needs you, you will help them. You're so wonderful. You have that beautiful smile and pretty eyes and oh, the hair.
I got a good hair
Yeah,
lady.
yeah.